hey guys, so let me give you a little backstory on Kiersten. When Kiersten was about 6 or 7 years old, she started randomly vomiting. We didn't know what was going on, what was happening. We just knew that sometimes she would be fine, and then she would eat during the day and be fine, and then she would literally wake up in the middle of the night throwing up. Sometimes so much so that we would just hear the shower running, because she would just get up and start showering and bathing herself and taking her sheets off. Now, if you know anything about my family, my 3 kids are all adopted from foster care. Sorry, can't talk today. And Kiersten and her brother both came to us, her biological brother, both came to us at 5 and 3. She was very accustomed to taking care of herself before she came to us. So, before anybody's like, what? You didn't clean up after your kid? No, yes, I did. But her, even at 6 and 7 years old, she was just accustomed to cleaning up after herself. So a lot of times we would wake up in the middle of the night, hear the shower running, go in, talk to her. She'd tell us she threw up. Sometimes she would come to our room. That went on for 2 years, 2, maybe 3 years. Obviously we took her to the doctor. However, there was nothing, we couldn't really pinpoint it to a certain food, because she never really ate something and then threw up. She always would be fine and then throw up. So then they were like, well, maybe she has an ulcer, and we did all these kind of tests, upper GI, ultrasounds, everything. Then we moved from where we lived to a town 45 minutes away, and her allergy progressively got worse. Then not only was she throwing up at school, and they would call me, because obviously your kid throws up at school, they call you, but they would also, her face would start to swell. So her face would get puffy, and I'll try to insert clips if I can remember. Face would get puffy. It would kind of get blotchy red, not really blotchy, but it wasn't her normal skin tone. And she would come home. We finally, we were still going to the doctors. We finally we were sent to an allergist that was 2 hours away. And they did a allergy test, and she was seasonally allergic to all 9 trees, pigweed, grass, and a lot of other seasonal things. Okay, seasonal allergies, she's miserable in the spring. I mean, that's just the way it is. Food allergies, she had a food allergy to wheat and corn. Now that threw us for a loop. So then you have she was 9. Yeah, she was about 9 at the time. They gave us an EpiPen. She was about 9. And we went from her being able to eat basically normal foods to not being able to eat wheat and corn. So you're like, oh, she has a food allergy to wheat and corn. Okay. And then you start researching. And you realize that if you have a wheat allergy, okay, that's fine. You can substitute it with things that are made from corn. If you have a corn allergy, you can substitute it for things that are made with wheat. If you are allergic to wheat and corn, it makes it a lot more difficult. So we could get her like rice crackers. We made things with rice flour and other things, but it was really, really difficult back then because it's not like it is now where a lot of people have gluten intolerance. However, gluten-free things, some gluten-free things she could eat, but still you had to watch for the corn substance, which a lot of things that are gluten-free have some sort of corn in them. So, excuse me, it was quite difficult. It was really difficult. And we did it for a long, long time. She packed her lunches every day. We just ate around. I made her special pancakes out of rice flour, which she didn't like because they weren't like pancakes. They were flat. And we just did what we could. Then fast forward several years, we moved to Southern Illinois, right near St. Louis, and I struggled to find a good pediatrician. So we were at this pediatrician's office, not who we see now, and I was like, okay, she has food allergies. She sometimes eats wheat and corn and she's not having many reactions. However, her reactions aren't like anaphylaxis, so it's not the same. It's a little bit different. Can we go see an allergist around here? She's like, oh, it's going to take way too long to get into an allergist around here. I would just start introducing it, and if she doesn't have a reaction, it means that she probably grew out of it, which we knew that she may grow out of it. However, I kind of wanted some sort of something telling me she had. Well, needless to say, we didn't get to a allergist, and I found a doctor or a nurse practitioner that we love, and we still see her now. And Kiersten wasn't really like, she always has stomach problems, like sometimes she'll eat things and she'll get sick, we kind of thought that, but it's not every time she would eat wheat and corn. Well, our doctor was like, let me do a blood test before we send you to an allergist because it may take a while to get and see one. That way we can at least know. Now she's allergic to all nuts. All nuts. So, now she's allergic to nuts. She may still be allergic to some shape or form or have an intolerance to wheat and corn. However, she's kind of able to eat it. Then last week happened. Last week, the nurse called me from school. My daughter is now 15, almost 16 years old. The nurse called me, said she came down, she ate something, she doesn't know what it was. She knows that she didn't eat anything with nuts in it. But she could not feel her mouth, her tongue. She was having a hard time breathing. And her face was puffy, and her lips were red. They weren't blue. Well, her lips don't turn blue because she doesn't have an anaphylactic reaction. Her lips always go like red. Her face gets red. She gets puffy. So I sent my dad, her grandpa, to go get her. I was at work. Mike's car wasn't running. And he went and got her and took her home. And she was just like, I had her take Benadryl. And needless to say, later that night, we ended up taking her to the ER because she was still having a hard time breathing. It wasn't like she couldn't breathe. She just was like, I can't take a deep breath. I can't catch my breath. So Mike took her to the ER. I stayed with the boys because I had to work the next morning. They said that she definitely had an allergic reaction of some sort. They believe that the breathing was due to her having an anxiety attack, knowing that she was having a reaction, which I can totally understand. So now we have an appointment with an allergist on July 16th, and we have totally cut wheat and corn out of her diet. Of course, she's still nut-free. So basically, this long kind of talking about her allergies, I'm going to start doing, obviously my grocery hauls are going to change, and some of my meal prep things are going to change. So I will be having some what I cook for Kiersten videos, and I did a very small grocery pickup last week when she had the reaction so that she would have something to take in her lunch and to eat when we ate things that may have wheat and corn in them. So I will insert that here. I will insert some pictures. I just took pictures of the things I bought because obviously it's days later now and she has ate some of the stuff because it was a very quick trip and then she was eating the stuff the next day. So if you guys have kiddos with allergies or you have allergies and you want to keep up with our allergy journey, go ahead and stay tuned. And if you are new and you have allergies or you have kiddos with allergies, even if you don't, even if you just have kiddos, this is just a good thing to kind of watch our journey to see the process, because I would have never thought that she had these allergies way back when because she was just throwing up. I was really assuming it was some kind of anxiety or an ulcer or upper GI something. Allergies have a huge array of symptoms. It's not always what you think. It's not always like you can't breathe. So anyway, I just invite you to stay and see where we go with this. We will know more in January after we go to the allergist, but from now until then, we have cut out wheat and corn in her diet. Thanksgiving's going to be interesting. I am making dinner rolls without wheat and corn for the first time, so I'm going to try to record that so you guys can see and make a separate video on that, and then just some other things that I'm going to kind of dig into and make. Most of the time I eat keto or low carb, so that kind of fits into my lifestyle because wheat and corn, obviously, carbs, things like that. She can have some things that I can't or don't. However, but anyway, so that's a whole nother story. But anyways, if you would like to like this video and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video, and stay tuned for the small little grocery haul. And we hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you in the next one.